What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. It is the 25th of September. We are 2 hours and 20 minutes into the new day. The price is sitting at $355.01. Sorry, 10 cents, my bad. There is a 1 there, but that's a 10. I had previously been calling for the price to move down over the past couple days. Or so, right? We were looking for continuation immediately out of this. We moved up, looking for continuation, and we didn't get it. We had all the reasons. The RSI was looking good, volume was looking good, the markets were bullish, all these things, right? We had the Fed meeting, interest rates were cut, and the markets didn't die and crash like a lot of people were expecting. We had all the reasons, I think, to move up and continue, and we just didn't. So I was expecting we'd move down, get a higher low, and then continue to move up. But over the past 24 hours, we've actually done some things that I think are significant enough to signal that we're ready to move higher now, right? And we are moving higher now. Obviously, we're at 355, but I mean higher, like higher than we are now, right? Up to that 376, $410 zone that we've been talking about for a little while. I forget if I said it, so one more time if I didn't, but one more time if I did, one time if I didn't. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. Let's see here, 355 right now. Daily RSI looks really good, right? Here's that's what it was. I wanted to talk about the things that, to me, validate that we are moving up right now. That this is not going to be some kind of fake out. We're not going to get the move that I had been calling for the past days, which is going to be a higher low. We could at any given point, of course, that could happen, but at this point in time, I'm pretty convinced that we are going to continue moving higher, right? If we look at the 4 hour here, your volume is building out of this, right? You've got a little bit more volume here versus here. Your RSI has been holding above the 50, looking very strong. You just got in the overbought zone on this 4 hour candle right now. We have an hour and 38 minutes left. Anything can happen. It could definitely sell off, but the volume right now looks pretty good to me. It looks pretty damn good to me. It definitely looks like you're in a breakout kind of position right now, and the volume, again, it's above average. It looks fine. Hour and 38 minutes left. I would say that, yeah, this is definitely on track to seeing more volume than this. I'd like to see volume continue to grow. Certainly not like shrink or anything like that, right? We don't want to see something like this where you have a big spike and then it just dies off. But this is fine. Even right here, man, this is above average volume. But I think hour and 38 minutes left, I think this does stand to probably grow higher than that volume here. Anybody who's looking at this and is like, volume's growing, what are you talking about? Volume's dying off. Don't look at it that way, right? That's a beginner's mistake. Whenever I started doing TA, this is the same thing that I would look at it, right? If you look at I don't know if that makes any sense the way that I just worded that. Let me try again, okay? A lot of people talk about volume in the sense of looking at it increasing or decreasing, right? And how do you know it's increasing or decreasing if you're looking at it, right? Oh, it looks like here, from here to here, it looks like it was increasing. Okay, that's fair. But, from here to here, it was decreasing, right? And then it started increasing again, then it started decreasing again, and then it started increasing again. It started decreasing again, it started increasing again, right? There's multiple ways to look at it, right? You can look at it simply like on the big spikes and say that it's increasing here and then it's decreasing here, or you can get a little bit more fine-tuned with it. If you zoom out, is it actually increasing here or is it just decreasing here, right? It's kind of subjective in that sense if you don't know what to look for. With volume specifically, I think that seeing the previous spike like this, or at least just seeing like the relative like moves beforehand, it doesn't have to be this. Obviously, this is a relative move beforehand, but relative to like this consolidation zone here, you are getting more volume now moving out of it, right? Yes, this is less volume here than this was back here. Obviously it is. Yes, it is. And in that sense, volume is decreasing. But this is just the beginning of this move. This move was very short. It happened in like 3 candles. But at the end of the move, that's when you had a lot of volume, right? You had a little bit of volume in the first 2 candles and a lot on the third. I'm not saying this candle or this move is going to end in 3 candles. It can end in 20. It could end in more than that. Who knows, But I'm just saying that this volume right here, this might not be the end of this move, right? We don't know how big the volume will get as it progresses through. It might actually end up being bigger than this, but that's not the big point or the main point. The main point is that volume is growing right now as we're breaking out of this consolidation phase. And absolutely you can see that, right? If you can't get past this, if you can't get past the idea of it's not growing, this is bigger, this is smaller, it's not growing. Let me try to help, okay? So because if you think like that, you're going to get this wrong. You really are. You're not. It's not going to be good for your. If you're trying to be a technical analyst, if you're trying to trade, you're going to get things wrong if you think like that. So yes, obviously, again, I've addressed that this volume here is dramatically bigger than this volume here, but that's not what you're looking at, right? Volume right now on your breakout move is increasing compared to what? not compared to your prior breakout move, but compared to your consolidation phase. If you're consolidating and you're getting volume that's increasing, right? Here's your consolidation phase essentially, right? In the volume. If your volume's increasing out of the consolidation phase, right? Like as you're moving out and the price is increasing too, that's a good thing. That normally signals that you're going to get continuation, right, out of this. So I personally don't think that this is, I'm sorry I went on a whole tangent there, but I really wanted to get that across for whatever reason. $355.50 right now, man. I don't believe it stops here. All that to say, I don't believe it stops here. I do believe that it continues to go. Don't let this trip you up if you're one of those people, right? Just look at it for what it is. It definitely is increasing right now as you're moving out. It absolutely is, right? Just keep it simple. And the RSI is there to help us too. It looks really strong. Getting in the overbought zone, to me, this is saying the same thing that I was saying down here, is that this might just be the beginning of this move, right? The volume will continue to increase. These readings will continue to get stronger. I certainly would expect that we move up more. If we look at the last two kind of moves up that we've had, which was this one here and this one here, right? When we got overbought, we were here, right? And that was about halfway through this move up, right? If you consider it like here and then there, it's like halfway up distance-wise. Maybe not time-wise, but distance-wise. If we look at the first time you got overbought here, it was basically at the end of the move, right? So I would say this is kind of the less expected thing, right? And perhaps it's not at the end of the move. Perhaps this is, all part of the same move going up. I don't know. But all I'm trying to say is that generally speaking, whenever you get overbought, you do continue. You don't stop in your tracks. And again, this is back to the reason why I thought we were going down. You had a bunch of reasons to expect the price would continue immediately, and it didn't. And I say it didn't, but here we are 5 days later, and it's moving up, right? Is that not immediate? I feel like that's pretty immediate. Crypto has a way of making investors or analysts impatient. It definitely does. At least that's what I hear, and that's what I experience personally. But I definitely feel like I might have been a little bit impatient on that, right? But we got the move up. There were a bunch of reasons to signal that we should have gotten this move up sooner, and it just didn't happen, and that's why I believed we were going to move down. But there's a bunch of reasons now, to me, that seem very concrete that we are going to continue to move up. So the next area to expect, all that to say, getting all this out of the way here, from a high point to a low point, would be probably our... Is that right? Yeah. The 382 area, 395, just above there, $400. I know why that looked weird to me, because normally I look at it from this perspective. All right, so that 382 zone, getting above your 236, which we've definitely been held down under for like this whole time here. Getting above it, I think, does signal that we are ready to move up to this 382 area, which again is probably closer, just say around like $400. Let's say 400. But from a high to a low here, the 618, the golden ratio zone here, is 376 to 390. That 382 is somewhere between the 69 and the 786, somewhere in this bubble here. So is it possible that we could break through the 618, 69 zone and just forego that and go straight to our 786? I think it's possible. Could we even go higher and see our 886? I think so. It's very possible. So while there are a few different targets, between like 395, 410, 432 up here. While these targets, I think, are important to keep in mind, it's absolutely possible and very common to find resistance at your 618, 69 zone. So we could stop as shallow as 376 to 390. That's very possible. And I generally would call for this target, right? This would be, I'd kind of call for a move that went up here, and then we come down, find support, and then we move up. We really could see that. That exact thing could play out. The odds of that happening, I think, are very good to happen. But I feel like we actually might move through the 61869 and might move up to the 786, 886 zone. I don't normally call for that, but in this instance I am, because we've already had one interaction here with the 618, another interaction here with the 618, and we just look very bullishly postured in the daily. I have a feeling that if we're moving up here, right, we're probably just going to be getting overbought. I just can't see us we're probably gonna let loose, guys. We're probably gonna let loose the goose. Again, it's not common to get overbought, and as soon as you get overbought, you go down. It's generally whenever you get overbought, you continue, right? We look at the daily here. You got overbought here on this day, like right here, and it was a little bit over half the move up, but still you had a lot more to go, right? You got overbought here. Your first instance of being overbought was this day here. You had a lot to go up, right? Same thing with being oversold. It's not normal that you dip into the oversold zone and then bounce out, right? That's not the normal thing that you would expect. You'd expect that once you get a reading in there, you kind of stay in there and you go lower. But anything can happen. I'm not saying that that we have to continue up this high, right? We absolutely could see some kind of move that's just to the 376, 390 area, this relative 61869, see something there, and then just dip into the overbought zone instead of like living in it and moving higher. We could see something like that, but my general expectation would be 410 to 432 is where we're moving. We're at 354 now. I think that move up to 410, 440, whatever, let's just keep it at round numbers there, somewhere in this zone here, I think that move could very well happen by the end of this month. It's the 25th right now. It could happen literally over the next, would that be 6 days? 6 days, including today, like almost 7 days, right? Um, no, because it's only a 30-day month. So then six days, right? 5 days, 5 days. And if not, certainly by the first week of October, I think we could be up there. So looking good. Looking good, man. This is a drawn out video saying it's looking good. This price action is looking real. I want to post this video so that it just gets put out there sooner than later. So I don't know. I could just, I don't know, get it out there. I don't even know why I'm still talking, man. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye.